Developing a Black History Curriculum Since Schools Won't, by Jada Persaud. Many schools are now voting to remove the teaching of Black history from K-12 education. Not many schools require the teaching of Black history in the first place. Governor Desantis of Florida has been one of the major proponents of removing Black history from Florida public schools. Now many Florida schools are trying to rewrite history and tell the story of slavery in a way that will make white students more comfortable. Black history has never been a requirement in public schools in general. The banning of teaching it just puts it in writing to send a specific message to us. The government does not want our children to grow up with a high sense of self-worth, or what Amos Wilson called the wholistic self-concept. When I was in middle school and high school, I don't remember ever learning about Black history in depth. There were usually a couple paragraphs in our textbooks about slavery and then a small discussion on the civil rights movement. The regular names like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks were briefly mentioned in my history classes. I definitely never learned about our ancient history in school. There were never any discussions on ancient Egypt, Kushites, Ethiopia. We never learned that Black people inhabited every continent and built civilizations around the world. Due to this lack of teaching, I was unaware of our true history until I started researching for myself once I was in college. I went to a majority Black school, so I had the opportunity to see the impact that the lack of Black history had on myself and my peers. Many of my peers were disengaged with the material that we were learning. Most of the world history focused on European countries. When children do not see themselves reflected in the material, they will not be interested in it. Why should they be? By not teaching Black history in schools, our children are being told that they did not contribute to society in any positive manner except when they were slaves. Starting Black history at slavery can make our youth feel inferior. It is important that our children learn that we were actually the first to build civilization. This will give our children the foundation to understand who we are. We should expect nothing different from those that continue to oppress and create a system in which they attain fake superiority. We know that they will not teach our children in the proper manner. It is our responsibility to make sure our youth are being nurtured and taught the proper curriculum in their homes. This should start at a very young age. When our children see themselves positively reflected in literature, history, arts, and civilization, they will develop a higher sense of self. It will also make them more interested in reading and learning. Black children need to have the proper mental stimulation because their minds develop at a faster rate than others. To do this, we must create an at-home curriculum for our children. To develop this at-home curriculum, I am going to give book recommendations to you all for our youth to read at each age group. Our youth should be reading a book a week according to the Honorable Marcus Garvey. It is also important that children see their parents reading books. These books can open up a great dialogue between you and your children. It will take everyone off of their devices and stimulate their minds.